Good morning, Sheila. How are you?
Good morning, Wayne. I'm just great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And boy, I sure look forward to these podcasts that we do. It's just so fun.
I
So
agree.
thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you.
And welcome everyone to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we explore the fascinating world of verbs and their impact on our daily lives. Join us each week as we delve into the different ways verbs shape our language and influence our lives, as we both attempt to make a positive difference in our world, one verb at a time.
Thank you, Wayne.
And Sheila, what is our verb for today?
Our verb for today is to navigate. I almost
Ah,
said it incorrectly. To navigate.
aha.
And I have a trivia question
Oh,
to
good.
ask at the beginning here. It's a very simple one.
Okay.
And believe it or not, this is from a website all about navigating trivia and fun facts. So,
Ah,
if the indicator lights fail on your car, what can you do instead, or what can you use instead? So, we won't answer that now, but it's such an easy answer that if you don't get it by the end of the show, then I think you need to do a remedial navigation class. So, there we go.
if my indicator lights don't work. Okay.
Right,
I'll
right.
put I'll put that in my thinking cap.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Okay.
So I have four definitions for this verb.
Aha.
Because I'm not, it's not a competition, but you're so good with getting thorough definitions. So I'd like to just start, and then you can do your six other definitions that you've researched. I made that
Aha.
number up just now.
Okay.
Number one, to plan and direct the route or course of a ship, an aircraft, or other form of transportation, especially by using instruments or maps.
Mm.
Number two, to sail or travel over water or land, especially carefully or with difficulty.
Okay.
Number three, to lead a company, activity, etc., in a particular direction or to deal effectively with a difficult situation.
Mm.
And number four, to move around within a website or between websites.
Aha.
So this is the kind of verb that has gotten more definitions as time has progressed.
I see. And I only have four others, so I'll
Okay.
say my four.
Okay.
To move on over or through water, air, or land in a ship
Okay.
or aircraft.
Hmm.
Two, to direct or manage on its course.
Hmm.
Three, to ascertain or plot and control the course or position. I like that. And then the last one, to walk or find one's way. And I like
Ah.
that because that's kind of like one of those dualities there.
Hmm.
Um, because not talking all about walking, but finding one's way could be something different.
Ah,
Yes,
philosophical.
right? Yes.
Okay.
And speaking of that, Sheila, where can our listeners find you?
Thank you. I can be reached at zekeandsheila@yahoo.com.
And I can be reached at Wayne at mindsyncing.com. That's MINDSYNCING.com. And remember, all complaints come to Wayne at mindsyncing.com. And all compliments go to
We have a clear definition of responsibilities here.
absolutely. They all go to all the compliments go to Sheila and Zeke, okay?
Zeke will take them with graciousness.
Okay. And so your first thoughts on navigate.
Well, I
What were
have a
you
couple
thinking?
quotes. I have a couple
Oh,
quotes.
I
That
like
always
we like
helps me
quotes.
kind of direct. Yes. The first one is Elizabeth Kapaulwailani Lindsay, an American explorer. Excuse
Ooh.
me, Elizabeth, for ruining your name there. She said, true navigation begins in the human heart. It's the most important map of all,
Ah,
which I thought was lovely.
I like that.
And also, I believe she knows whereof she speaks. The next one is from Viola Davis, an American actress, who said, your ability to adapt to failure and navigate your way out of it absolutely 100% makes you who you are.
Mm.
And that was a very different direction, but I loved that one too.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
And then
It,
finally, what? Go ahead.
go ahead. I was going to say that's kind of like the challenge. We did challenge a while
Ah,
ago, right? And
yes.
and that's we kind of talked about that as well. You gotta challenge yourself. And
Yes.
I like to say never give up, because golly, there's got to be a way. There has to be a way.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
anyway,
Thank you.
yes.
My final quote here is Amy Poehler, an American comedian and actress. And she says, as you navigate through the rest of your life, be open to collaboration. I know you're going to love this one. Other
Mm,
people and other people's ideas are often better than your own. Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life.
absolutely agree. I like that one.
After this show, I'm going to make a little list of people I want to be spending more time with. And I love that I spend every Thursday with you. So thank you.
Oh, and thank you. Yes, yes, that feeling is mutual. We have so much fun. And again, it is just incredible amount of knowledge that we garner by
I
researching these
know.
verbs, because there's so many perspectives with the verbs. It's like, oh, I didn't
Yes.
even think of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very
And
cool.
words matter. So
Words do matter.
yeah,
As it turns out, words do
as it
matter.
turns out. So where did you end up going with this verb?
Well, what came to my mind when I first heard, when we first talked about navigate,
Hmm.
I said, I see a journey into the unknown or a path
Ah.
to success,
Oh,
which, right, which
I
is much like
like
we
both
talked.
of those. Yeah.
Yes. And I have learned this over time, just through experiences, and experience by hard knocks, school of hard knocks, just
Hmm.
learning, listening to other people, watching other people, because I've always enjoyed challenges, and I've always marveled at people who could go into a situation and come out smelling like a rose. And
Hmm.
you would think that, oh my goodness, this could never have happened. But how did that person do it? Anyway, so I have learned to use the verb navigate to alter my course of what feels comfortable and status quo
Mm.
to one that offers a different kind of excitement and challenge.
Okay.
I always told my classes when I was teaching, I always
Hmm.
told my clients when I was speaking with them, challenge yourself. Do something that's uncomfortable to you. Do something that you don't know anything about, so that you can realize that you need diversity. And diversity is a broad spectrum. We're not talking about just race or
Hmm.
ethnicity. We're talking big ones, tall ones, round ones, small ones, plaid ones,
Mm.
green ones,
Hmm.
um, generational. But you can learn from everyone, and someone else brings a perspective, because most times you are not the smartest person in the room.
Rarely do I make the mistake of thinking that.
So I thought, this is, I take it, I use it as, it's a it's all about stepping out of my comfort zone and
Yes.
entering into a whole host of opportunities.
I love that. Opportunities as opposed to challenges.
Yes, it's about understanding where I am as a person and where I want to go from a beginning position to one of a more optimal solution, maneuvering, navigating
Mhm.
between, around, and through difficult or challenging times
Mm.
with others outside of my normal focus group, if you will. And I like to say we start with the what. We don't start with the why, we start with the what. So,
Mm.
what does that endpoint look like? All right, now how do I get there? I think that's
Mhm.
navigation.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's just, again, that was just my initial thought. So there we
Mhm.
go. I'll start with that.
Please do. Yep.
Where would you like to take us to? Because I don't want to talk too much tonight. I've been talking too much on some of these podcasts, so
I
I
don't
will
think
go to
so.
you, my friend.
I the first thing I looked up I thought was just a brilliant idea, in part because in the past I did not have access to this kind of thing. But in the more recent years, hospitals, nurses, hospitals, doctors, they've come up with patient navigators, especially in the area of cancer
Hmm.
or sick children. And these patient navigators help patients and families and caregivers overcome barriers to healthcare, and not just, go down the hall and take a left at the third door, but barriers to uh, uh, clinical, psychological, financial, spiritual,
Ah,
those kinds of barriers, who really help someone through that particular path in as many ways as possible, providing confidence and resources as opposed to closed doors and
Mm,
lack of knowledge in
yes,
terms of where to go.
yes.
So they're promoting health on all aspects of health. Anyway, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about that. I didn't look up any research, but I would be willing to bet big money that when someone has the use of a patient navigator or hospital navigator, they're called many different things, that their whole experience is going to be much more positive in terms of
Mm,
health.
yes.
So, and then I thought, well, you know what else we need are IT or digital navigators, but that's a whole different story. So I do remember my son saying once, you don't have to be a millennial to know how to do this. And I actually had to beg his difference and say, yeah, I think you do, or younger. So,
Uh-huh.
so what's your next topic?
Okay, and so I have a short list of what I now think of when I think about navigation or
Okay.
navigate.
Okay.
Okay, so how to challenge myself. And I only have to look as far as my bride. I
Oh.
watch my bride as she sets a path for a new career and new beginnings.
Mm.
Because as you well know, she's in school and
Mm-hmm.
she's learning a different language. She's
Mm.
learning a different mechanism, utilizing a different tool, and she's starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with what she's done in the past. And she's brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
and she's now learning this new thing in this. And I watch her in awe as she struggles, as she excites herself, as she congratulates herself, as she downgrades herself, as
Mm.
she beats herself up, as she picks herself up. It's
Mm.
just it's just it's fascinating to watch her. And again, starting with the what, it's like going to college. Well, she's in
Mm-hmm.
college. She's in
Mm-hmm.
college. It's like going to college. You don't go to college just to go to college. You go to college because you want to be something.
Mm.
Typically, most people do. And how do you get that college degree? Well, you got to go through 4 years of navigating courses and professors and students and whatnot. And once you've done that, your end point is, hey, here's my degree in whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you're starting with the what. It's not why am I going to college, it's what am I
Ah.
going to do after I get finished with college. But you got to go through those things. So, as I watch my wife, she's working diligently towards a dream, and she is plotting her course and doing quite well at it, as a matter of fact. So that's one way that I look. Working through the scenario that you thought would never happen,
Mm-hmm.
and you prepared yourself for it long ago. So again, a plan. And as your husband likes to say, he likes to quote Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth.
Yes. New plan.
Right. Exactly. A new plan. But you have to start there, right? And
Yeah, you do. I really like what I really take to heart that if you're asking why and you're in the middle of your navigation path, then you need to go back to stage one and say,
what? Yeah.
what,
Where am I
what now?
going? Yeah.
What
Oh,
now?
I want to go find the Americas, and I'm starting from Spain. Yes. Okay. Gosh. So
Right, right.
great. And when you're out there dealing with the giant octopus and the torrential rains and winds, that's when you can go, okay, now why am I here?
I would be asking that of myself. So,
Yes.
well, I love
Okay.
how you've taken this down a philosophical path too. Thank you for that.
Oh, it's kind of fun. Yes. All right. I think I should break from there and come back to you here so we can come back to reality, come back to earth.
Okay.
Bring
Um,
ground us, please.
well, this is definitely on the more practical side as opposed to the philosophical side, but I have coming up in my future a camping trip where we're going to be looking at fireflies.
Ah,
Flocks of fireflies. It only
really?
happens a couple times a year at this particular location, but one of the things that you have to do is go see them in the dark. And you can't put a light on because that'll chase them away. So
Right.
was looking up navigating in the dark and I found backpacker.com, backpacker website. Jesse Krebs wrote an article with the following points about navigating in the dark. First of all, your eyes have rods and cones which are light receptors,
Hmm.
and the cones perceive color and are closer to the pupil. The rods detect black and white contrasts and are farther away and do more peripheral and wide angle vision tasks.
Yes. Okay.
The colors on the red spectrum disappear first in low light, and what was red appears more gray or black.
Mm.
And interestingly enough, the last colors to fade are the blues and greens. So this just made me curious now to go walking around my neighborhood in the dark, but more later. The more in the dark you try to look directly at something at night, the less well you can see it because the cones, again, being closer to the pupil, mean you're trying to use color receptors in a
Aha.
colorless environment,
Okay.
which is not very effective. Instead, they said, try to look around what you want to see to help the rods gather information that your brain needs to paint an accurate image, because your brain will fill in the gaps, but the more information you give it, the more accurate the image will be. And
Huh.
then finally, depth perception is ruined at night, so they suggest you walk slowly or shuffle your feet or use a trekking pole to swing around and look for roots or to swing up and look for trees.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to, oh, I did get a headlamp with a red light that I can use at night to help navigate. Red lights don't scare away the fireflies so much, and as that's one of the first colors to disappear, somehow having a red headlamp makes it easier to see in the dark.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about this project. I'm excited to have learned about more darkness navigating that I'm going to put into practice.
Excellent. And I have a tip for you.
Good.
And we used to do this when I was I used to fly rescue
Mm.
on a helicopter.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I learned in doing that, we would always start in a ready room, and then we would turn out the lights,
Hmm.
and we would close our eyes for about 30 seconds
Mm.
before we headed out to the helicopter, because when you close your eyes, those rods and cones kick in and they're
Hmm.
doing things, and it's saying, okay, it's dark, I can't see, I can't see. And then when you open your eyes in this dark room, you can see a lot better. Now, you
Oh.
already know how to navigate around the room because you've been in the red room a lot. But when you open your eyes, you get a better picture and you get a better depth perception is
Mm.
what's there. We
Hmm.
go outside, it's still dark. We get in the helicopter, we turn on the instrumentations and this red lights, like you just talked
Hmm.
about.
Hmm.
And so it doesn't misuse the readiness that our eyes are re-
Interesting.
receiving the information. So I would suggest to you, before you go out, just kind of close your eyes for 30
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah.
in the dark, and then when you are ready, open your eyes and you will have a better perspective of
Great.
what you can and cannot see. It
Thank you.
it sounds trivial, but it really
No,
works.
I love it. Thank you.
It does.
Not
Okay.
trivial at all.
All right. And continuing on my list here,
Yes.
I say like to navigate taking a risk, hopefully a more calculated one. And again, negotiating a turn, navigating across, getting across the intersection. So as I'm at a stop at an intersection and I'm turning right, you've got to let oncoming traffic, cross traffic pass by you first, right?
Hmm.
And then you can see, oh, there's a gap. Okay, I can go here because here comes a truck. He's going to be slower and it's going uphill. So yes, I can do it. As soon as this car goes in front of me, I can boogie. And you do that. And your risk is sometimes differing from other individuals because
Hmm.
if you can imagine, you're sitting there at this turn and there's three cars in front of you and you're like, I could have done that 5 times by now. Come on, guys, let's go. We're just navigating to, we're not building a road. We're navigating to get into the road here, into this line of traffic. Let's go.
I like that I'm not the only person who gives helpful advice to other drivers
Yes,
with
yes.
my windows closed.
Oh, I see. And my eyes, yes, so they can't see me. Working to find a solution. I loved going. I always volunteered to take the jobs that seemed difficult and other people didn't want to do because it was all bloodied and battered and ugly. And I always thought, hey, the only way here is up. So I can't do
Okay.
any worse, but I can certainly go in there and fix this, I think, and believe. And I built my confidence level up doing that. I would go into
Ah.
situations that were already messed up, and I would go in there and attempt to fix it. Now, again, I not being by myself, I have a team of individuals who are with me,
Good point.
and we all put our little expertises together and collaboratively come up with a way to, hey, chart out to the success. So I like that.
Yeah.
How to make lemon out of lemonades out of lemons.
Mm-hmm.
I always like making lemonade out of lemons. You know, give me the mess.
Yes. I know you are great that way.
I don't know. I don't know how you say that, but okay, I try.
Okay. All right.
I try real hard. I'm looking at the clock. It's 20:38, so I'm going to make this quick.
Okay.
Where do I start, or where do you start? Pick a point and move towards it, starting with the what. Again, course correct along the way. Again, if we're going for that college degree, hey, I want to get a college degree in biochemistry. Okay. And you get to that first chemistry course that's hard. Which is the hardest chemistry one? Oh, the one
Any.
that any. I like
Sorry,
that.
organic.
I like organic chemistry. Yes. So we course correct along the way. Okay, I'm not going to get a degree in biochemistry. I'm going to get a degree in biology. So we're course correcting.
Gotcha.
Contemplate a few what ifs. Hey, well, what if this, or what if that, or what if this professor's not teaching because I like that professor, or what if this, just do a lot of what ifs. And I would go into, again, organizations, and I would help them ask or bring up questions of what if this can happen, what if this could happen, what would you do? And so that when they get there or get close to there, they say, wait, we were in a group and we had this thought process, and here's some things that we came up with, and it's a good starting point. But if you've never thought about it, as soon as you hit it, there's no movement at all. So contemplate some of the what ifs. Pick a group of individuals to help support you, right? It's just, you got to have a group of individuals who can get this done. Make sure the group is diverse. We talked about that already. Write it down. When I was getting my college degree, I was in Spain, and I was using Troy State University's extension campus there, and I had a Troy State banner that I taped above my door. And every time I went out that door, I would touch that Troy State banner, because that said to me, all right, you're going out this door to get an education through Troy State, and that's my goal, to do that. And I touched that every day. So I wrote it down and I visualized it. Not only did I visualize it, I personalized it because I touched it every day.
That's great.
Seek help. At one time, I would say, if needed. Now I say all the time, hey, help and counsel might not be needed, but it certainly is helpful. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So if I want to do a podcast, I will come to ask Sheila. Sheila, how do we do a podcast?
She'll say, cursed digital. We need a digital navigator.
And my last thought, and then I'll turn it over to you, my friend, because we have a lot of time left. So you can get all your important things that you want in. Seek someone who has accomplished this before and talk with them on lessons learned.
Great idea.
We don't do that enough, the lessons learned. What did you learn from that? Well, we should have learned that we shouldn't have done this, this, and this, and this, so that the next person comes in and doesn't do that, that, and that, and that. And go, hey, good idea. I could have told you if you asked me not to do that.
Good idea.
Yes.
Good idea. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So what do you have for us?
Well, my final point, that when I say my email address, zekeandsheila.com, Zeke, of course, is my golden retriever dog. So I was reading about how dogs navigate, because they're, ironically, businessinsider.com has published information about some studies done about dogs, and specifically about navigation. And their findings suggest that dogs take advantage of the Earth's magnetic field. This is called magnetoreception, not to be confused with Dr. Magneto of Marvel Comics fame. So,
Of
um,
which I know nothing about. I don't even know who that is.
I won't mention it any further than that, but those who know, they know. So,
Okay.
okay. It's like for dogs, a GPS tracker. And in this particular study done in the Czech Republic from 2014 to 2017, they used 27 different dogs, taking them on 662 different expeditions over time.
Mm.
And they found, and these are interesting for me. They found that 1/3 of the time, 2/3 of the time, dogs retraced their own steps using their scent to get back to the starting point. But 1/3 of the time, they started by running for, and they even measured it 65 feet along the Earth's north-south axis. And what they figured is they called this a compass run. They figured that the dogs, it was helping them figure out the north-south axes and then determining where they were in relation to that, even if the destination they were taking was a different direction from that north-south route. So that's why they were thinking that it's the navigational compass they were using was the magnetic field. And they were quick to point out in this study that humans don't have this skill set and would get lost without a map or a compass. So
Huh.
I'm sure there are some humans, especially if they're Eagle Scouts, who could do this without a map or compass, but that's a specialized skill they've developed over time.
And I'm willing to ask this question
Okay.
because the dogs can retrace their steps from which they came. And you told us a while ago, when we talked about smell, that a dog
Yes.
can smell up to 12 miles.
Yes.
And so retracing their steps, boy, and I'm wondering if as that smell gets stronger and stronger, they know they're getting closer and closer. I wonder if that kicks in at all with this magnetic compass that they have.
Oh,
That's
so
very interesting.
using several different modalities, in other words,
Yes,
to get
yes.
home.
Like
Well, and it's
sense of taste, smell, touch,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Important to remember too that different breeds of dogs are better at this than others. And the
Yeah, you
dogs
said the
that they
hound
chose
dog
for
was the best one.
hound dog was the best. And in this case, they used hunting dogs specifically, who are more likely to have that tracking skill.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I know. I thought so too. Thank you for
Wow.
saying that.
Yes.
Well, with that though, I'd like to answer our trivia question,
Aha.
which was, if the indicator lights fail on your car, what can you use instead? And the answer is hand signals,
Oh,
which we
hand
learned
signals.
hand signals, like we learned when we were taking bicycle safety classes as children.
Ah,
But
okay.
here's another one. If a hearse operator is driving with a full casket in their car, are they allowed to drive in the carpool or HOV lane?
I'm gonna
And
say yes.
no. Nope. You have to be in some version alive. So to
Okay.
take advantage of that. So, Wayne, I have learned so much from you today, especially about navigation and philosophically, and starting with the what, not the why, and asking what if this or what if that as your course correcting. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. And I appreciate you and Zeke. Zeke always giving us a smile.
Me too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you everyone.
Thank you
And
for listening.
we'll see you next week.
Indeed. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Sheila. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.